So I'm actually having my second video after finishing the pizzas. So here we go, explaining why I want to do a YouTube channel. So as you have already known, I explained my reason of me being different from most Chinese and my sort of my experience abroad, but not the entire experience in UK or in the US. And I was hesitant to talk about it in the last video because both experiences are long stories. In UK, it was mostly like spiritual, intellectual discoveries, explorations, and self-explorations. In US, it was more like expanding outward and expanding, like started to expand my social circles and know how the current society is formed and how a multicultural society actually is. Well, I know a lot of people disagree that America is a good multicultural society, and especially the people from Europe have generally a negative attitude toward the United States. I understand, and at the time when I went to the US from Cambridge, it was like officially not 2017, it was still like 2016 because I escaped from my high school and traveled to the United States in 2016. But officially I moved there and studied in 2017. So I had quite a hard time transforming from UK culture to US culture. And UK, especially Cambridge, being the center of scholastic events and all kinds of studies, theoretical studies, it's a renowned college. It was really different, and at that time it was still sort of like part of the EU. So although it's in UK, but it's still very European, and I can totally get it why people think, especially Europeans, people think that US is shit. But I do want to say that California is a very liberal democratic state. California is like very helpful for me in particular. So in the first 2 years, I was happy there, until in the end of the second year in United States, I met someone who ended up stalking and cyberstalking me. At the time, I was also meeting a lot of philosophical problems. Not exactly philosophical, I actually hated philosophy since childhood. Well, that's another story, another chapter. But I was having this personal struggle, not even crisis, just a struggle. I wanted to sort of find someone to discuss about it, or even just like move on together, because I was Chinese and I firstly integrated into the European culture and then went to America, and was a lot of discomforts to adjust to the native Californian culture. So this guy came along and he claimed he's from US Navy. We dated for 6 times, but it wasn't actually successful. I felt like he was just guessing my preferences, and he wasn't really treating me as a human. And before that, I was applying for different schools for transfer. My decision was in San Diego. Like I went to UC San Diego, alright. So 2017, I was in UC San Diego, and I dated someone outside my school and from online dating it's common, and the chance that you met someone that might be bad or fishy or just in some way illegit at that time shouldn't be theoretically high. I mean, after COVID, like right now, pandemic time, and everybody can go online and do all sorts of things, you might like have a high chance to have a bad experience online. But at that time, it's 2018. Well, yeah, it was still Trump era. Maybe things were not controlled so well. But I didn't believe that people could be that bad. But actually, he firstly used a fake profile to talk to me, and his first word is that you are so interesting. You are very interesting. I know, like he isn't treating me as a woman, not even a human. Well, yes, maybe more of a woman than a human, because he does look to fuck. Whatever. He isn't treating people in a normal way. It's abusive because he abused the technology to do cyber stalking, which means he hacked all my devices and tapped my computers, phones, and looked into my accounts, my private conversations, and analyzed my personal thoughts on the memos, etc., etc. And he even laughed at it, and he will write about everything he saw in my devices over this online dating site, which is called OkCupid. Yes, I should have mentioned it because it's such a bad website with such a bad cybersecurity that in 2019 February, millions of users have gotten hacked. Cupid, it literally happened, and that was the time I was most intensively stalked by this guy because he wrote a lot of his personal thoughts, and to lower my confidence on OkCupid, he hacked the whole server and all of the profiles were changed. And my information were there. Okay, I said I liked some kind of singer, and he'll say this singer is so fake and so pretentious. I don't like this singer. Everything I liked, he'll mock at it. And that's how he did it, because he knew I was looking, and I was looking only because I wanted to keep myself safe. And this whole thing happened that changed my view towards United States. Because I reported, of course, I not only reported to OkCupid support team, and I also reported to FBI after a trip to my home country, China, and discussed this with family. Family didn't help, actually. They thought I was crazy because my mother said, you're psycho. Nobody would stalk you. You're not a celebrity. That's what she thought. And my father was like, okay. And my father even knew the whole thing about it. My father knew I was dating this guy, and this guy was creating fake profiles. My father didn't say a single thing to prevent me further interacting with this guy. Anyway, like my family, again, like another giant topic, but like be aware that my family, like my parents are like, at least the way they treat me are very Chinese, but they themselves, they too are very special individuals in China. But that's how I grew up, and that's their attitude towards cyber stalking this thing. So it happened, and I reported. It changed my whole view towards the U.S., especially like how abusive and disrespectful to women and misogynistic he can be. And in the whole event, even if there were people who believed me and who wanted to help me at first, they ended up getting away from me because I was stalked. Okay, if you're stalked, I don't want to be your friend, and I just want to you to get away from me as far as possible because you were stalked and it might be like risky to associate with you. And I literally had no friend and had no social, and even like I went dark to all of my social accounts for the entire whole year. I didn't have a normal social life. 2019, that was my 2019, because it happened in 2018 December, and that was my 2019. Almost no social, yeah. Well, yeah, I had some offline social, but it wasn't exciting me. 22, well, yeah, I was 21. 21-year-old girl, smart, pretty, going to UC San Diego studying mathematics, and I should have had a much better life. Honestly, I almost gave up my life on the day I failed to report this to the Berkeley police, and he decided to call the crisis team because he simply thought I was imagining it. And it was like literally I figured like whatever he thought, oh, doesn't matter, like really doesn't matter to me, but there was no hope. There was no hope. And I was so bright. I wanted to like apply graduate schools and get a PhD in certain schools that I liked. I planned everything for my math major. And this guy came along and fucked me up. And also, I realized in all of these events how Chinese act as like ignorant, like act as a cancellation factor. It's negation. It's a negation towards everything because like no human rights. They don't understand human rights. So my family hurt me, my friends hurt me, China, this society hurt me. But in America, where human rights are put on the table and to be said, repeated, acted upon, advocated, it's all a delusion. So yeah, of course, I understand how Europeans perceive these things, and I also believed it and experienced it, acted upon it, and then disbelieved it. In a hot way, it was helpful for me because I realized these things by literal experience. And today I'm doing this YouTube video is because I wish to tell more people that here is this gender equality, and there's social justice, and there's also racial equality because the person who stalked me is Ukrainian and he is a white. Yeah, and a lot of people asked me in the United States, is he white? And that's what they asked me. Is he white? That's what they wanted to know. And I want to tell everyone that it happened pretty often between Asians and whites within their relationships. Either one stalks another or another stalks the one. What I meant is the reverse could be true. Like Asian girls can stalk whites as well. It literally happened in China so often. One among 3 of my male foreigner friends, white friends, here they call it foreigners. They call them foreigners. It was really like horrible. The Chinese girl would literally go to my friend's home and they didn't want to leave. And she would even have physical fight with the white guy. And it happened in Taiwan as well. I don't know about like other Asian countries like in India, Nepal, maybe they are different, but China, Taiwan, and Hong Kong, I don't know, but I've heard about these stories in mainland China and Hong Kong. And this is what I'm worried about, this like interracial thing. If ever they dealt with it, FBI dealt with it, and the police, and wherever the police, because I reported in Scotland as well, and the Scottish police almost did the same thing. They put me to the hospital to do mental check, and I came out with no diagnosis, and the doctor wished me good luck on reporting. It was always the same procedure. They disbelieved it, and they needed to check my mind. And there was one day I even checked my own mind and doing this IQ test, the so-called IQ test, but it was actually like scanning all my brain's channel. And the doctor who opened up this like mind center, giant mind centers in the United States, he was successful and he was like entrepreneur but also knowledgeable about brain science. And he told me, you have a super brain because all the channels are super coherent. That's what we call coherent. You must be really smart. I said, yes, I played the violin. See, this my violin. I play the violin and since childhood, and I do math. And I constantly exercise my brain. I'm totally normal. And I'm emotionally normal. Well, yes, I did get stressed, but I was totally normal. And I think like as Asians, we are better. Sorry, but I have to say it. Maybe we are better at math and all those like traditionally, like technologically subjects. And it just happens that a lot of people are jealous of Asians' abilities, or they disbelieve that Asians can be that smart, or we have the intuition to conclude who is doing kind of evil act. And I just knew, like from the first fake profile he created, he talked to me, he said, you are interesting. On the others' names and on the others' profile pictures, I just knew. It's intuition, I just knew. But at the same time, now, I mean, back to now, right now, I am very worried about this multicultural, interracial society because it happened everywhere. Stalking, and maybe cyberstalking worldwide. It happened in China, in America, in other countries too. Well, despite Switzerland, because Switzerland does not have stalking law or cyberstalking law. Check on the internet, a big story. Well, big news. I don't know how many stories involved stalking and cyberstalking were there, but it's a big news that Switzerland is such a privileged country, but they don't have, well, maybe I'm ignorant, I don't know why, but let's reduce the problem to just relationship. Because I really want to have a good relationship with my white friends. Sincerely, I generally and usually have very sincere, like very happy relationships with white friends, because growing up in China, it made me fucking painful. And in England, I have wonderful relationships with my teachers, with several of my teachers who I can truly speak to and connect. And in America, in California too, I could exchange my ideas freely without being discriminated at in any aspect, and I enjoy these relationships. But as the influence of Trump continued and the post-COVID era came with all the technological revolutions, changes could be either violent or just degrading. What I meant by degrading is that the old odors, like the good old odors, are gonna be disturbed. What do you mean, like by what do I mean by good odors? And odors, and odors, because there has to be an odor in everything. There has to be an odor. And if you know the odor, you don't have to admit somebody's superiority or somebody's race or whatever. So for example, I study math. I know like people do ranking. And in Olympiad, I attended Olympiads 3 or 4 times, 5 times actually, 2 times in primary school, 2 times in high school, and I also got a British Olympiad physics commendation. I know, like, there are rankings, right? There are rankings and there are marks, and you gotta do all these problems. And like the top students are usually either more hardworking or they are smarter, and there's ranking. And it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter your personality. It doesn't matter your race, your gender. The stats are there. The competition is there. And I went through all this, and because I was either interested in math or physics, and I could get good grades. Actually, I got 2 silver medals and 1 gold in mathematical challenge in England, and in China I got decent grades in Olympiad as well. It's called like a New Hope or something. It's like kind of similar math context. It's just like hard work, and some people are jealous about it. They're really jealous. I don't like it, and they stalk me because you're interesting. Because it's not that I'm interesting, it's that you can't understand me. And the reason why you can't understand me is because you're not at this level yet. And I'm sorry I bumped into you and I dated you. Okay, my fault. Okay, I shouldn't have chosen you. But I did not know either. I wanted to give you a chance. And if you failed, you failed. Don't fucking stalk me. Alright? And I'm worried about other victims. And I want to make this YouTube channel a little bit encouragement to this world and to the potential victims who are suffering. Thank you for watching.